And so that the early works that he did are so complete and so strongly themselves that it is really an extraordinary blossoming of a way of painting. He was a clever fellow, you know, and he knew everybody in Toledo, which was a very high-powered town at that time. And he was on a committee for church art, and evidently what he offered aesthetically in support of the ritual of the church in Toledo, which was known as the New Rome, was approved of by the church. And he was a success. And then when he died, the Trinitarian monk Paravicino, who had painted a wonderful portrait of him in Boston, he wrote an elegy which was read at his grave. And then when he died, the whole business of counter-Reformation art got into another groove, and the martyrdom of the saints took the place of more central themes of Christ's life. And these martyrdoms of the saints were very realistic. And after 100 years or so, people couldn't see El Greco's paintings. They couldn't get anything out of them. They thought that he was mad. But of course, he wasn't. Yes. Well, as a young man, I grew up in the war. And I still remember photographs of Jews being rounded up in Amsterdam, and cities being bombed, and Budapest being captured. And I was beginning to paint then. It was a very serious pastime for me, if pastime I could call it. And I painted a lot of war scenes. I used to paint them by floating the watercolor onto the paper, stretched paper of course, and then painting them with ink. And the ink used to go in all sorts of marvelous directions, and it was very good technique for bombed houses. And then I left school, and just about the time when the war ended, I think it was 1945, am I right? Yeah, 1945. And that was the first year that I had a painting in living art. And of course the painting, my poor painting, was called The Wasteland, because my favourite poet had written a poem called The Wasteland. And about this time I was getting very interested in William Blake. And I was very interested in his theory of imagination. And so I painted a picture, a very small, modest painting, of the ascension of souls. Rather Blakean, let's admit. But immediately I had painted this picture, I said, well now, that's one truth. What about the truth that I was painting when I was painting the bombed houses? Can I find a single image that will suffice for those two happenings in my soul? And I think it was that questioning of myself that turned me into a painter.